This catastrophe of an anime features two extremely stupid twins, Akito and Akiko. Stupidity doesn't even do justice in describing how relentlessly stupid they are. After being separated for 6 years, the girl tries to rizz her brother into falling for her. My god, let's not even talk about the fact that she fails woefully because he only sees her as his little sister. All attempts to clap him clap back, and to be honest, this anime is completely bonkers. The anime begins with a young lady who comes out of a bus and looks like she doesn't know where she's headed. Typical Gen Z baddie, they are so cute, but it feels like they are missing something upstairs. After walking a distance, she pulls out a hand-sketched map like Google Stickman's house. She gives it to the local authorities to show her the way, and after a few minutes, she arrives at her destination after rizzing the guys up with her looks. She readies herself to open the door, but a guy from the inside opens the door and says he was just about to step out to go pick her up. He informs her that her things are here and they're still cleaning up. He welcomes her and her eyes sparkle with excitement like she just walked into the local makeup shop. The girl and the boy are siblings, and it has been a long time since she last saw him. After their parents passed away, the siblings were placed under the care of different relatives until today they have finally broken free from their respective foster families, and there is a chance for them to live together again. Let's hope they're not both born in Alabama, because things will get crazy real quick. Their names are Akiko, the girl, and Akito, the boy. Akito lives in a student dormitory at St. Liliana High School. They are busy tidying up their luggage and cleaning their room all day. Akito is worried that his sister is very tired and tells her to take a bath first. The little missy wash herself and then seats in the bath, and you won't believe that this brother wannabe clapper Akiko was waiting for her brother Akito to come spy on her, and with no shame goes to question him for not coming to peep on her while she was taking her bath. Okay guys, now I have 100% confirmed this girl is a local resident of Alabama. Akito was shocked to see her in a very short and alluring towel, but was blown out of existence when she asked him to peep on him. She angles her peanut-sized buns and tells him that if he doesn't not come and peep on her, that she'll be mad. I know he's probably wondering what's wrong with his Gen Z sister and if she was raised by a brother-clapping psycho. I would have been searching for the nearest mental asylum. She gives him one more chance to peek at her. She goes back into the bath and waits, but Akito doesn't show up at all because he's normal and down to earth. Later that evening, he helps her bring the last box of her clothes to her room, and she gives him the look and attitude. My mind was already blown, but then her eggplant craving peach makes her ask him to sleep with her tonight, not just on the same bed, I mean clap the living innocence out of her. But Akito misreads this, thinking she means that they should share a bed. Bro is so innocent, I'm shaking my head right now. Don't worry boys, this kid will soon learn about women's real nature. He says they can't share a bed, and that all I can think of is that the being clapped by my brother girl thinks he just said they're too old to clap on a futon and can clap anywhere. She brings her brother to the same page when she says she can't believe that they'll be clapping till dawn, but not on a futon. Did you feel my rhymes? Dawn, futon. God damn. He tells her, to her disappointment, that she'll be sleeping all on her own tonight, and even if they've been apart for 600 years, the answer would still be the same. She says, or rather, she thinks her heart and body are ready to be clapped away. She apologizes, and before he can think that she has a thread of decency, she washed the thought away by saying she'll wait till midnight, creep to his bed, and before she can say anything else, like the Avatar in The Last Airbender, he vanished. Next morning during breakfast, her relentless bickering continues. She says that her brother complex is part of her identity. Just in case he's dumb, she explains what brother complex means. She goes on yapping about her lust for him and her desire to be clapped like crazy, but he just sits there enjoying his breakfast that she made. He compliments the meal, asks for seconds, and goes on enjoying the meal, not listening to a goddamn thing she's saying. He finally answers her and she says she wants a hug for making him breakfast. He says he's beginning to worry about what the inside of her head looks like. I'm already picturing a circus with Harley Quinn and the Joker playing around her mental faculties. She gives up on a hug and says she wants a kiss now. She gets up and explains a very stupid and foolish theory that they've already crossed the line of normal conversations and claims they're in the territory of flirting already. This chick is crazy. He goes back to not listening to her but stuffing himself with more of her delicious meal. I bet she wishes she was the delicious meal he's eating relentlessly. They sat outside and she asked to lay on his lap. Yeah, he wants none of that. The house is big and old and needs a few touches. They get up to go get the laundry done, and she tells him that she loves him, and he says the same. Her head goes red and her ears go choo-choo like a grain, and she faints. Not long after, all her dreams as aspiration take a nosedive right into the ground as she realizes that she won't just be sharing the house and her brother with another girl, but 3 other girls. You're broke! Making them a total of 1 Akito and 4 girls. They all attend the same school, and let me walk you through the 3 other girls. 1, a redhead, tall, and she's something of a samurai with an eye patch. A pirate samurai. She's also the president of the student government body. Her name is Arashi Nikaido. You don't even need to say it twice, I'm calling her Kaido. Second, she's a yellowhead, average height girl, and she's the accountant of the school government body, and her name is Anastasia Nasuhara. Let's call her Nasu. Thirdly, she's a blonde-haired girl. But wait, is this blonde or white? And from the conversation they're having, it's like she's the chef of the day. And she's taking suggestions for dinner. Her name is Ginbei Haruomi-sa. Ginbei, because Ginbei from One Piece, and that's all I'll say. They've already squeezed Akiko into the student government body as the secretarial sub-assistant fill-in. That sounds beyond made up. Kaido gets up and adjourns the student council meeting. This school's student body must be in peril if they're busy discussing food at the council meeting, or is it a make-believe council body? While they walk home, they stop by to get groceries and give Akito the heavy bags to carry. Akiko is still very much angry that she has to share her man. They get home and they waste no time flashing them in their peach and melon covers, and they change to house clothes. Kaido has got some serious all-natural organic melons hanging though. Ginbei prepares dinner. Akiko asks if she could be of help, and she sets up the table. As she was done, she was about to scream Oni-chan, but Ginbei butts in and calls out Akito for dinner. Akito arrives and compliments the food. Ginbei said she put in so much effort to make sure he likes it and would be delighted if he does. Now, on to the interest part. He pulls his chair to sit down, and that's when Chi-Chi stops him and says there's an urgent matter they have to decide on. Guess what? They have to decide who's gonna sit next to Akito tonight and who's gonna feed him. This guy is either lucky, at least if it were me, I'd feel lucky. But since he's a virgin and can't seem to take control over these kinds of small issues, dinner might already be half cold before they get to eat it. That's if it's not completely cold. He tells Chi-Chi, who corrects him that he should call her Anna, and FYI, Anna also means hole in Japan. She quickly teases him by saying he's got guts calling a girl a hole. She calls him a virgin, and Akiko affirms that he's 100% pure until he becomes her possession. Everyone choruses no, and Kaido quickly puts in the suggestion to help him by clapping the manliness into him. Akiko feels she's the only one who has the right to sit next to him. Ginbei, on the other hand, says she put a lot of energy into making everyone's meal, and she should be rewarded by sitting next to him and feeding him too. All this banter feels useless to Akiko, as she argues she's the one with the right and the right type of love to sit next to him. Except that her mental faculty is all messed up. This girl is quite funny. The 3 other girls quickly work together to throw her off the competition cause right now. They don't really need an additional competition. Kaido tells Akiko that she's his sister, and nothing of such that she's busy making up in her head won't ever happen, because to Akito they'll always just be siblings. She turns around to ask her brother what he thinks of her, and he called her a good girl, says he'll cherish her and that he loves her, and just as she's about to reach Cloud 9, he pulls her back to Earth by adding, as a sister. Akiko is busy filling her fantasies with a book purely on brother and sister complex, and in the book, the sister is to marry another man, and the brother says he won't let another touch her beautiful skin and wonderful before, and says he'll clap her before anyone else. I'm pretty sure this book is just cheering on her hormones. She calls the book a bestseller and wishes her story would be written just like this too. Akito comes in and switches on the lights. Immediately she sees him. She said that he's finally here to clap away her innocence, but he says he's not here on that sort of mission. She immediately replies that he's here to request that he comes and claps him instead, but he said he's here because she's been giggling all the while and asks if she's reading a book. He picks up the book, Tales of Forbidden Love. She tries to deny ownership of the book, but her name stamp betrays her. She quickly gets up and takes the book back, saying it's a classic misunderstanding, saying he shouldn't be misled by the title of the book and the cover of the book. She claims the book is not about a brother and sister clapping fest, but about a brother and sister love, till they finally cross the line and elope to have a more peaceful life of brother and sister clapping, and tags the book as something of pure love. Please, does she think we're wasting diapers here? She says the author is a great writer and agrees that she is a big fan of his. Akito looks so disappointed. She offered him the book to read. He denies and she says she'll read it for him. She immediately opened the book and the first thing she read was about a water-to-water between the two siblings of the book. He stops her and says he understands that everyone has their own hobbies. He's got a lot to say to her about being so in-depth on such hobbies, but since this is what she has plunged herself into as a hubby, then he respects that.
What did he say?
The Virgin said he's going to pretend he didn't see anything this time, but she'll have to promise him a few things like keeping such books out of his sight and to never bring up the author again. He turns around to go, but this foolish girl stops him to ask him to clap her since he's already here. She wiggles her tiny little waist from east to west. Bro just turned around and locked the door. The next day, Cody is on a date? Damn! I thought this virgin was lonely, but he's about to introduce another cutie into the picture. He arrives late and apologizes to her for keeping her waiting. Oh wait, he's not on a date. She's just here to tell him that he's done an awesome job writing a book, and gasp with me everyone, gasp! He's writing a book titled Tales of Forbidden Love. Let's rewind to last night. Who's the author of that book again? Shindu Kuchuru! Could he be the one, gasp? Twist, twist, plot, twist. That brother-lusting Akiko misses no opportunity to get under Akito's skin. She uses her break in between classes to pester Akito's peaceful time. This foolish hole. For future references, whenever I use the word hole, just imagine the letter L is not there. You know why, I need not say more. So back to what I was saying. The foolish hole tells him to ask her to marry him so all the awkwardness will just vanish, but he says he's okay with being tsundere. He tells her to skedaddle to her class because the next lesson is about to start. She makes up her mind to never let him sit lonely during the breaks and promises to be back during the next break. After Akiko leaves for PE, Chi-Chi invades Akito with her plans for them to go on a picnic. She says she's also a victim of tsundere because she really wants to go on a picnic but can't fully express herself. She mentions that she hates Akiko, foolish Akiko, wherever she was sneezed and thought it was her Onii-chan thinking about her. Chi-Chi gets up and leaves. On her way, she suggests that they go on the picnic during the weekend. She mentions that if he hadn't agreed to go during the weekend, then she would have switched all his pants with hers. Akiko's PE class is over and she says she won't go to see the love of her life, contrary to her statement of making sure he'll never be lonely. It's break time and sweet girl Ginbei has blessed him cookies. He feasts on them like Goku after an intense battle. She mentions that they've been, in her own words, best friends for the past 6 years. She asks if he has made friends and planned to help him out, but he declines her request to help him make friends. They banter about her transferring schools and she calls him a stubborn fool. But this stubborn fool doesn't want to be called that by a girl whose head is stronger than Mount Everest. He tells her that her cookies were wonderful. Hehe, cookies. And she tells him that she likes that about him. He's straightforward. Akiko comes to his class to make up for the lost time, but meets an empty seat. The missing RAM is at the student council meeting hall. Apparently, Kaido had called him for a meeting and he wonders why she's late, and she's never late. She commends him for knowing that about her, and before we know, she goes straight into the agenda of the day. This eggplant-craving warrior princess asked him to be her man. He stutters no, and she says it was just a joke, and goes right back to asking him to be her lover. She tells him to accept her as his clap slave, and as he reacts weirdly, she pulls closer to him, trapped him by a table, and moves in for a water-to-water. It would be wrong as a fellow bro if I said that his sister saved the day because bro deserves some action and this little hole just ruined it. Bleach! Lol, you know the deal, it's bleach without the L. Akiko questions her actions. She said she almost ran mad looking for him. She claims she was looking for him to ease him with her rice cake endowed body. Before she can get a fitting response from Kaido, the remaining girls pop out like bad pimples and tell Akiko that she's the reason why he's always lonely. Akiko asks Akito if these false accusations were true, but it turns out the allegations were true as diamonds. Back in class, Akito is approached by 3 not-so-good-looking nerds in the class. They plan on starting a Buddha statue appreciation club, something only geeks can do. He turns them down, saying he's got plans and he's got no free time. You won't believe that that little hole was standing by the door and mouthing loud enough, cheering Akito to make friends. The 3 musketeers see this and they run away at the speed of light. After school, she dragged him to a playground and said their relationship was still quite weird because they were apart for a long while and they needed to spend more time together. First, we see Akiko hanging up her clothes. She pulls back and looks at her special shirt that has, "I love my sister" engraved on it. It's one of those lazy weekends where everyone's chilling at home. The moment she's done, she zooms straight to pester Akito because why not? Akiko asks Akito to help replace the light bulb in her room. Sounds innocent, right? But plot twist. She plans to throw herself at Akito from behind while he's changing the bulb. It's like in Toradora, where you think it's about helping, but really it's about some sneaky plan. She tries to change her tactics, saying he'll be the one to change the bulb and he'll hold the ladder. If you don't know the plan behind that, let me tell you, she planned to flash her peach covers on his face. But Akito, being the no-nonsense type, or better still, being the #1 upheld virgin, shuts her down immediately, but just as he's about to grab some clothes, they start arguing about, you guessed it, underclothes. He was trying to pick the clothes from the line when Akiko came out of the shadows like Lord Shadow in the Eminence of the Shadow and grabbed her underpants from his hands like it always happens. Before Akiko and Akito can have a quality squabble time, the remaining girls pop like ninjas and steal her time. Akiko's all chill about Akito seeing her private stuff but treating her strings like normal clothes. That's a no-no. What does she feel it is? Diamonds? It's like when Kirino from Oremo loses her mind over her secret stash being found out. Nasu is super chill about Akito touching her number clothes. No matter what he does to her underclothes, she's cool with it. Very Monogatari series vibes there. Just then, Ginbi notices Kaido's underclothes are missing. Kaido, the boss Bleach, casually mentions she lost them, and if innocent Akito wants to see, she can just strip and pull for him right there. Classic high school DxD move. She teased them by lifting up her garment a little, but nature also needs a peek of that peach. A gust of wind swooshes in, and Akiko's inner Tai Chi awakens and she covers Akito's eyes to keep things PG-13. Later, Nasu ropes Akito into helping her tidy up her stuff. He walked in on her sleeping on the floor soundly like a newborn baby. We realize that she comes from a rich family, she's never done any housework. Damn! She is living the dream. Her room's a mess when she's got too much on her plate. Akito sees this as a teaching moment and decides to guide her. Together, they get her room looking decent. She blushed all the way through, and at the final moment, it's just the last box left in the room. Helper boy Akito said he's heading to the box. In shame of what is in the box, Nasu flies across the room like Neo from The Matrix, but she landed badly and everything she's been trying to keep hidden in the box came flying out as she stood there embarrassed. But it's just a box of cute dolls. I wonder why she's acting all bad and bleachy when she's a wonderful, sweet princess. We all want a wonderful but hard-working princess, don't we? Not these gorillas like Maki Oze from Fire Force. She worries Akito will think she's childish, a bit like how Hinata from Naruto gets all shy about her handmade gifts. But Akito finds it adorable, much to Nasu's embarrassment. She's clearly growing fonder of him. During lunch, Nasu decides to shoot her and confesses her feelings. She barged in on Akito and Akiko, sitting together under a tree, but don't worry, they are not Kissing. Nasu came and sat in between them and she shoots her shot. She immediately, with no second thoughts, asked him to be her boyfriend. I know you're thinking it too, and it's true. Akiko was as hot as a train engine. Akiko, fearing a new couple on the horizon, starts making weird noises to sabotage the moment. It's like that school rumble episode where everything goes hilariously wrong. Asif Akiko was not already enduring enough. He calls Nasu by the preferred name she wants him to call her, Anna, before she can make her usual joke of him having guts to call a girl hole. Remember, that's what Anna means in Japan, a hole. We know what a hole means to us, she's both. Before she can make the joke, he butts in and asks why she wants to date him, and she says it's because she likes him. BAM! She put it out there. Nasu, undeterred, forces Akito to touch the softest part of her body, her melons. My favorite part. Both Akiko and Akito freak out. Nasu backs down and claims she was just joking, but she's not giving up, convinced that one day Akito will come around. Everyone's vying for Akito's attention, each with their own quirky tactics, and I'd be lying if I said some were not funny. Ginbi was in the kitchen, whipping up dinner, and boy, it smelled delicious. I can almost smell it from my screen. Akito, coming back from school, picked up a cake for Ginbi, thinking it'd be a nice touch. When he got home, he mentioned how it felt like a couple's setting with just the two of them, which made Ginbi blush as red as a tomato. Akito, with a hint of excitement, offered to go to her room for tea, wanting to show his appreciation. It's not what you think. Keep your dirty mind in place. He's trying to keep the whole school transfer thing a secret. Please go and use the blood of Jesus to wash that mind of yours. Ginbi had transferred to St. Liliana High School just to be with him, and he felt pretty lucky to have such a good friend. During their tea time, Akito complimented Ginbi's new clothes, saying she looked super cute, which she did. Ginbi, being shy, accidentally spilled tea all over herself. Akito, worried she might get burned, hurriedly tried to wipe her clothes, and guess where this foolish hole was wiping? Her melons! Yes, you guessed right, that's if you did. He didn't even hold back, he moved at the speed of light, but not to save the day. He swooped in like an after effect to wipe her shirt. Ginby understandably slapped him, and he vanished into thin air. After leaving Ginby's room, Akito helped Nasu rearrange her stuff. Nasu warned him not to spill the beans about her doll collection, but Akito, being the understanding guy he is, told her it was totally fine, like when Goju from My Dress Up Darling found out Marin liked cosplay, no big deal. He asked where all her dolls were, and she opened a door, and they came flooding in like a river. She quickly arranged everything in place. As Akito was about to leave, Nasu stopped him and sat him down. She started eating a banana in a way that screamed Food Wars, levels of suggestiveness hinting at something more intimate, and guess what? That banana was not for eating, it was so she could pretend to slip on the banana peel and fall onto Akito, and bro, she was on him like she was about to give him a good eggplant ride. Akito, being the dense protagonist we know and we do not love, someone tells him we need some action. He plays it off saying he found Nasu's behavior super strange and had no idea what she was trying to do. This left Nasu frustrated, feeling like poor Kaguya from Kaguya-sama. Love is war when her plans go awry. When Akito asked if she had a fever, she wanted to bolt out of the room but fell into her wardrobe. Later on, the ladies were having a bath and damn, my eyes are being blessed. They began to measure their melons. In order for them to know and bond with each other well, Kaido suggests they wash each other's back. She lifted two things and my eyes widened like those of Ijime. Ikeni no Kyushitsu, because the things she lifted look like female self-clap toys, but those things are lotions, not body wash. They call on the only person they can, Akito. He brings the body wash but won't agree to go into the bath. He's rejecting entry, free entry into heaven. Ginby went to get the shower gel herself and as they say, give to the people what the people want, and we were given. Passive action though, but a win is a win. The floor was slippery and Ginbei ended up falling on Akito, leaving him face to face with her melons, peach, and surface area. I mean, the full package. Akito, blushing like a character from Nisekoi, felt incredibly shy seeing Ginby in such a state. At school, they have a board meeting just to decide what they'll each call Akito. These sunny beaches really have no other plans. They just want to clap the living daylight out of Akito. It's only a matter of time before they gang up on him like those epic Attack on Titan battle scenes, but here, they'll be the Titans and they'll all clap him turn by turn. Akiko barges in not long after and declares she'll keep calling him Oniya-chan like always. She fans the flames by boasting that she's the most important person to Akito. That hit hard, and the others retaliate by making her feel like she needs serious psychiatric help for her brother Complex, sending her running away embarrassed, a classic Neon Genesis Evangelion mental breakdown moment. On his way home, Akito gets a call from Jino. She invites him to write a short story and suggests meeting on Sunday to discuss it. During the call, she hears Akiko's voice and finds out Akito has a sister. Since Akito's stories often have a sibling complex, Jino worries he might be romantically interested in his sister. To help him stay away from this taboo relationship, Jino decides she needs to win him over herself. When they meet, Jino acts all super sexy, intending to get intimate with Akito. She strikes various poses, pulling closer to him. Sitting on the table, she spreads her chopsticks on the table, facing her peach to his face, but unlucky for her, Akito's already familiar with these tactics from home. He pulls out a magazine and Jino quickly explains that she's just worried about his relationship with his sister. Akito assures her he can distinguish between reality and fantasy and insists he has no romantic feelings for his sister. But Jino remains suspicious, sensing that Akito's care for his sister runs deep. It's a real Sword Art Online Asuna and Kirito situation, misunderstandings and all. Back at the dormitory, Akito is cornered in the warehouse by Kaido. She's here for her prey. To make things worse, Akiko mistakenly locks the warehouse, thinking it's empty. Kaido sees this as the perfect chance to get close to Akito. Every time Akito tries to escape, Kaido captures him again. It's like a fairy tale episode with endless chases and catches. Then Akito notices a clay pot about to fall from a shelf. He quickly pushes Kaido out of the way, but now he's on top of her. Her melons are all out and pointing at him, impressing her with his quick thinking. Just then, Akiko bursts into the store after hearing a sound. You can imagine her shock seeing them in such a compromising position. A few days later, Jino receives an addition to Akito's story. She's touched by his delicate words and starts thinking he's got a serious case of Eromanga Sensei going on. This has reenacted her theory of him having a sister complex. To confirm, she decides to visit Akito's place. He keeps his writing a secret, and the girls only know Jino as his business partner. With Akiko out, Jino takes the chance to ask the girls if Akito is really fond of his sister. To her shock or not, they all say yes. Akito, of course, denies it like a true liar game contestant. When Akiko returns, he suggests Jino ask her directly. Akiko, the whole, insists Akito isn't a siscon, but admits she's got a colossal brother complex. Her dream is to turn Akito into a siscon. Akito doesn't really respond to her feelings, but loves teasing her like the sibling duo from Oreimo. The girls are used to their banter, but definitely don't want them becoming a real couple. Akito's and Akiko's rooms are separated by only one door. To keep them apart, Kaido suggests they live separately. Akito eagerly supports this idea and moves to a room far from Akiko. While sorting his stuff, memories of his sister flood his mind like a Your Name montage. He returns to his old room to find Akiko waiting for him. He can't help but touch her face and swears he'll always love her. Kaido brings in a dormitory manager, Arisa, a talented girl with a sharp mind. Akito once lived with Arisa's family, making her like a little sister to him, but she comes with a lot more juice, she's way more than meets the eye, and she brings a whole new dimension to the chapter by saying she's his fiancée. Arisa is cute, proficient in household chores, and everyone except Akiko likes her. Akito wants everyone to get along, explaining that Arisa used to help him a lot and is like a sister to him. Akiko, however, sees Arisa as a hoe and threat that could steal her man. Though she doesn't hate Arisa, they're rivals in love and can't be friends. Kaido suggests a competition to settle things. If Arisa wins, Akiko must peacefully coexist with her. The competition is to see who understands Akito better. Akiko focuses on childhood memories, while Arisa, who has lived with Akito for 6 years, knows the current Akito better. In the end, Akiko admits defeat, but can't give up on Akito. Arisa questions whether Akiko and Akito are blood-related and reminds Akiko that loving her brother isn't legal or ethical. This hits Akiko hard, but she refuses to give up. The argument gets heated, and neither wants to lose. They decide Akito should choose between them. Akito compliments them both and says he can't choose. They're all his sisters, and he'll treat them fairly. Rejected, Akiko realizes she and Arisa share the same troubles. They both know and like Akito the most. But these advantages mean nothing because to him, they're his sisters. Akiko suggests they unite against other girls who like Akito, and Arisa agrees. Before summer, the girls head to the mall to buy swimsuits, except for Ginbi, who feels self-conscious about her body. Akiko, a swimsuit expert, helps Jinbi choose a cute swimsuit that flatters her. Back at the dorm, the girls hold a swimsuit contest and ask Akito to judge. This sweet torture leaves Akito in a to love Ru level of embarrassment. These bleaches and holes put him through a lot as Akito went room to room to evaluate their swimsuits, but Kaido took it too far. She wears nothing to show off, making the situation even more awkward and causing him to sprint out of her room like Joseph when Potiphar's wife tempted him. Akito, unable to choose, declares them all winners. Akiko sees Jinbei run off into the woods at school. He follows and encounters her with a stray cat acting all weird like the girl May in The Girl I Like Forgot Her Glasses. They act all weird around cats, making cat noises. Soon after, Akito falls ill with a cold and asks Jino to delay a deadline. The girls fiercely argue over who gets to take care of him. Kaido suggests they take turns, but this only fuels their competitive spirit to see who's better. Bro is about to go through a stage-by-stage heaven. First up is Arisa. She prepares hearty food and some extravagant folk remedies that shock Akito, but he follows her instructions. Next is Nasu, who isn't great at caring for the sick. She keeps asking Akito what he wants, but he just wants to sleep. Nasu, wanting to kiss him, asks him to close his eyes, but Akito catches on and she runs away embarrassed. Finally, it's Akiko's turn. She gently strokes Akito's hair and lets him rest on her lap, vowing to stay by his side forever. It's a touching moment like My Little Monster thingy when things get unexpectedly heartfelt. Jino, on the other hand, have contacted Akito's illness, apparently and according to her, through a phone call. Ginbi sees Akito fall into a deep sleep and decides not to wake him up. As she watches, she hears him talking in his sleep about their childhood, which takes her back to their first encounter. She lays with him all night. She keeps our brother warm. Let's run through the memory lane. Akito had just transferred to Kyoto, and Jinbi initially thought his constant smiling was fake like a discount Light Yagami. But unlike Light, Akito wasn't planning any complex schemes, he just wanted friends. Ginbi told the other boys in class about Akito, leading him to make many friends. However, Akito only wanted Jinbi's approval. To keep Akito away from her, Jinbi helped him get closer to the girls in their class, but seeing him surrounded by girls made her jealous like how Sasuke makes Sakura feel. Despite her cold attitude, Akito wouldn't give up like hopeless Naruto with Sasuke. When Ginbi took time off to avoid him, Akito showed up at her house, suggesting they fight so she could vent her feelings. Now that's just desperate. Despite losing, they became good friends. Akito had initially thought Ginbi was a boy because of her name, like the mistaken identity tropes in Ouran High School Host Club, and like Rudius mistook the love of his life for a man and wanted to bathe with her. Even after realizing she was a girl, he didn't see her any differently, which annoyed Ginbi. She constantly tried to change his perception of her, like Haruhi trying to fit in with the Host Club boys. Akito wakes up bright the next morning. The girls ask him who took the best care of him, and he surprisingly chooses Kaido because she put a wet towel on his forehead. As a reward, Kaido gets to be alone with Akito, revealing a more beautiful and elegant side when she removes her blindfold, transforming like Sailor Moon into a more elegant form. Honestly, I thought bro was gonna talk a walk through Clap City. Nasu faces a crisis after her shower when she can't find her underclothes. She hears Arisa scream and rushes to help. Still underdressed, Arisa claims to see mysterious objects and is scared. Akito jokes that it's probably a yukai, which freaks out the girls like they've seen a real Shinigami. They decide to investigate but find nothing unusual. On their way back, they encounter a wall. Akiko suggests they climb over, but since the girls can't, she thinks they can ride on Akito's shoulders, a classic harem comedy solution. Nasu's Peach had been teased all night by Thing Around because she's not in her strings and she's been making weird noises. Remember, she's not on undies, and when Akiko gives her a shoulder ride, he felt all her juiced peach on his neck. They get spooked by crows and split up. Nasu finds herself alone with Akiko. She recalls their first meeting in 5th grade when Akiko transferred to St. Liliana High School. Nasu thought Akiko was adorable and wanted to be friends, but couldn't express her feelings like Tsundere Kagome and Inuyasha. 6 years later, Akito transferred to their school and Nasu developed a crush on him, despite struggling to express her true thoughts like Rika in Chunibyo. During their moment of reflection, Nasu asks Akiko what she would do if she ever lost her underclothes. Akiko casually suggests buying new ones or wearing a swimsuit, which leads Nasu lip to cheek in gratitude. A gust of wind then reveals Nasu's peach. Now that she feels safe, she lets it rip, causing Akiko to protect her as they return to the dorm. Suddenly, a group of stray cats appears with green flames around them, scaring the girls like they've seen a real-life ghost Pokemon. They decide to sleep with Akito that night. Arisa, who sleeps with nothing, yes! Yes! Give that girl a clap medal. She stuns the whole room as they wake up to her with nothing and lying on Akito's body looking so innocently attractive. Kaido then insists that everyone should remove their underclothes, leaving Akito both thrilled and distressed, a classic harem anime dilemma. Akiko dressed up traditionally and came in to apologize for her behaviors, and I thought she had repented of her brother's complex, but this was just another scheme to woo him. Akito continues living with the 5 beautiful girls. He harbors a secret. He and Akiko aren't biologically related, a twist right out of My Sister, My Writer. He fears no fear that revealing the truth will make Akiko even more obsessive, aggressively obsessive. So, we take our secret to the grave.